We have witnessed countless whistleblowers expose Hollywood's hidden side, but no one saw Kevin Spacey taking aim at Ellen DeGeneres. What makes this story so shocking is how directly it connects to the quiet power dynamics operating behind the scenes. Before his entire life collapsed, Spacey was facing complete financial ruin, a dramatic downfall that left him questioning where he would even live.
If I didn't learn anything, if it was 7 years, then I learned nothing. House is being sold at auction. Really? So I have to go back to Baltimore and put all my things in storage. Really? So the answer to that question is, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to live now.
According to explosive claims sweeping the internet, Ellen aggressively targeted Spacey after he attempted to speak out against her industry behavior. Spacey allegedly knew how she treated people behind closed doors and intended to defend those she victimized. But before his accusations reached the public, a sudden wave of severe legal allegations derailed his platform entirely.
In July 2016, actor Kevin Spacey sexually assaulted my son.
The tears of a mother in Boston today, revealing what she claims happened to her son.
The victim, my son, was a starstruck, straight, 18-year-old young man who had no idea that the famous actor was an alleged sexual predator or that he was about to become his next victim.
Journalist Heather Unro's tweet about Kevin Spacey last month triggered all the allegations against him. Today, she went public and the police are now investigating.
To Kevin Spacey, I want to say this. Shame on you for what you did to my son.
The BBC has interviewed more alleged victims. Chris Nixon didn't have to speak out, but wanted to make clear Kevin Spacey's behaviour was part of a pattern.
It's not just sleazy, it's predatory. He did what he did because he knew he'd...
Following a high-profile legal battle, Spacey was acquitted of all charges. Yet, despite being cleared in court, the narrative had already taken hold, leaving him to process the heavy aftermath of public judgment.
I imagine that many of you can understand that there's a lot for me to process after what has just happened today. But I would like to say that I'm enormously grateful to the jury for having taken the time to examine all of the evidence and all of the facts carefully before they reach their decision. And I am humbled by the outcome today.
For years, figures like Rosie O'Donnell and Kathy Griffin hinted that Ellen's image was a carefully crafted illusion. Beyond workplace mistreatment claims, persistent rumors connected powerful personalities to Jeffrey Epstein's network. When the Harvey Weinstein allegations exploded, Rosie immediately recognized the pattern. Having experienced controlling behavior herself, she understood how high-level figures maneuver to silence critics and control public perception.
About the Harvey Weinstein drama, did you have an immediate reaction to that?
Well, I'm 55, he's 65. He became very famous at the same time my show was hitting. So I knew him and I knew of him, and these stories were not a surprise to me. And it's also just a problem of sexism in America. Just like racism is inherent, every time a football player kneels down, they're kneeling down to say racism is systemic in our nation. Well, so is sexism, and so is the belittlement of women by men in power, usually white men. So that it didn't surprise me. It's like we have to agree on the givens in America in order to solve the problem. And if the problem is why are women being abused at a horrible number, and why is this mass incarceration of African Americans, how is this the Jim Crow laws contemporized? There's amazing stuff out there to read if you're interested, and we can, I believe, solve these issues if we're able to speak about them.
Rosie refused to play by those rules. She spoke out about facts already hiding in public records, arguing that this was never just about single celebrities, but a systemic network protecting its own. She also highlighted why victims struggle to break free, pointing out how deep-seated trauma shapes human behavior.
How did your father deal with it in reality?
Not very well. He had his own issues and demons. He had a very tough childhood, an alcoholic, abusive father, and never really got the help that I think every person needs when they have lived through that as a child. The worst thing that can happen to anyone is to become what you loathe. And I think that he had a lot of a lot of problems to deal with in his own life, never mind being faced with raising these 5 small children. He did get a lot of empathy or sympathy from the local people in the town. Like, we'd go to church and they would all be like, oh, there's Ed O'Donnell. Such a good man that he's doing. Look, he's all those. He got a little bit heralded, you know, as this widower who was doing this great job raising the kids.
Now that you've had 4 kids yourself, have you been able to look back on him in a more favourable light, given the enormity of what was suddenly thrust upon him?
In some ways I do, but there was some, you know, there are some unforgivable things. I think that as a child, the statute of limitations, I think, has to wear off, right? You get to be 50 years old, you can't still be angry at what your father did in 1970. You have to work it out yourself and then find a place for it in your own life and not rehash it forever.
Have you reached that place?
I have. I've reframed it, and I've, you know...
Have you forgiven him in your mind?
I have, and he knows it, and I've told him that, and he's still alive. And I think he's still suffering, and that's a sad thing to me. Because no matter what, at the end of the day, every child loves their dad and their mom. They do. It's innate. I would go to McLaren Hall, which was a place that was open in LA for children in protective custody. First time I went there was a little boy and his hand was bandaged. And I said to him, hey buddy, how you doing? He said, good. He was like 6. I said, what do you want for Christmas? He said, only to see my mommy. And I said, I'm sure you will, little man. When I walked out, one of the social workers said to me, his mother held his hand to the stove and burnt his fingers off. And what that child wanted was his mother. So no matter what, every child wants their parents to love them and to be in their life. And I think it's a very hard thing when stuff occurs that makes that almost...
Supporters of this theory argue that Ellen's sudden relocation to the UK with Portia de Rossi was a calculated move ahead of unsealed documents. Viewers began re-examining old broadcast footage where Ellen casually joked about private islands, jokes that hit differently when viewed alongside claims about Epstein's notorious aircraft, the Lolita Express. The disturbing details from inside that plane revealed a world far darker than the public imagined.
Brunswick, Georgia, at the Stambach Airport, and we're inside Jeffrey Epstein's 727 plane that has been called the Lolita Express. Right when you first walk in, there's a bathroom, and here you can see some of the items that remain from when it was owned by Jeffrey Epstein. There are monogrammed paper towels that show the name of the plane, as well as Jeffrey Epstein's initials, obviously. And then we have a baby powder bottle, disturbingly, underneath the sink in this main bathroom, as well as just other random kind of toiletries and items. In the bedroom, which is what you walk into next, there's still some covers on the bed, but there's dead bugs on them now. This is definitely a deteriorated, falling apart jet that's just been sitting here unused for almost 10 years. But interestingly, in the top drawer of the nightstand, there's a satellite phone. And then you kind of come into the galley here. We have coffee, just instant coffee. Most of these things are just empty. Again, this has been sitting here unused for almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years this summer. And a lot of what's in these drawers is just some random, a lot of them are empty, but some have like plastic bags or garbage bags, especially as you get into the kitchen here.
She was the air hostess on board the notorious Lolita Express, the billionaire's private jet at the center of a sex scandal making lurid headlines across the world. Sleazy Wall Street tycoon Jeffrey Epstein used the Lolita Express to ferry a bevy of beautiful young women. Among the passengers, former President Bill Clinton and Britain's Prince Andrew.
On almost every trip that I did go on, there were young girls around.
In this Inside Edition exclusive, Shantae Davies takes us inside the secret world of the Lolita Express, named for the controversial book and movie about a professor's infatuation with an underage girl. Shantae made several trips on Jeffrey Epstein's infamous Lolita Express. She says she was one of several young, attractive women hired to travel around the world, giving massages or yoga instruction to Epstein and his rich and powerful friends. When Shantae was hired, she was a struggling 22-year-old actress. She once played a lingerie model in a movie called Exposed.
These designs are really great.
Shantae worked as a masseuse, but says she never had with Epstein. Did you ever think that maybe more was going on than simple massages?
Looking back, of course.
Was there a bed on the airplane?
Actually, yes, there was, yeah.
On one memorable flight on board a plane like this provided by Air Hollywood, she says she made peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for passengers, including Oscar winner Kevin Spacey, actor Chris Tucker, and even Bill Clinton. They were all flying to Africa on a humanitarian mission, and Jeffrey Epstein had given them the use of his jet. So you never gave President Clinton a massage?
No, I didn't.
Shantae says when the plane landed in Africa, Clinton took her shopping, but she says nothing improper occurred.
They had shut down a jewelry store for us, and I helped him pick out a bracelet for Chelsea.
It was a jet-set lifestyle for sure, but Shantae says she felt uncomfortable about being part of Epstein's collection of young women. You saw young women around Jeffrey Epstein, and they didn't seem to have regular jobs, and you started wondering, why are they here?
Yes, yes.
When you look back, are there red flags that you should have seen at the time?
Definitely, yeah. Why fly anyone out to be a masseuse when there's plenty of masseuses in this?
Former flight attendants and insiders eventually exposed the reality of who was flying on that jet and what was happening behind closed doors. While these claims remain unverified by legal proof, Ellen's Sunshine television persona successfully shielded her from scrutiny for decades. That cover broke when former show staff began stepping forward, revealing a culture of intimidation that completely shattered her public image.
Everybody in the world hates Ellen. She's mean, she's racist, she's a bully, right? Okay, this is not Kalen Allen's truth. Kalen Allen's truth is that he just perceives a person who is perhaps socially awkward. Nevertheless, Kalen drafts a statement. He's got something to say. So he drafted his statement, and according to him, in his statement, he said, hey, I don't know Miss Ellen that way. However, these people do, and these people's story is very real. And because of that, I stand with the staff. According to him, legal said you could put that statement out if you very well please. That is up to you. However, if you do so, you will be violating your NDA, your non-disclosure agreement. So then you'll be in breach of contract. Do with that information what you will. So of course he didn't say anything. According to Kalen, even though he did not experience that version of Ellen DeGeneres, it was still very hard for him to get a job after the fallout of Ellen because they perceived him as being too close. You have to keep in mind that Ellen DeGeneres is Kalen's first job in media, Hollywood. Him say all of this made me understand his Starbucks collaboration just a little bit more. And because I don't know when that Starbucks collaboration was filmed, of course, I don't believe that Kalen had anything to do with the timing of it coming out. However, my God, the timing sucked. But if we are talking about somebody who is struggling to get jobs, somebody who used to be a regular on Ellen DeGeneres, and now it's like, my only option is the Starbucks job because y'all have jerked me around.
The story shifted to an even darker territory with the public statements of Sasha Riley, a retired Army sergeant. Riley alleged that he was trafficked as a child by an elite network, specifically pointing to his adoptive father, William Kyle Riley, who worked as a pilot.
So we broke it into timelines when we did data collection on this, and I'll show you what we came up with. The first was that we have the allegations, and we first want to find out who his father is. And in fact, there is a William Bill Riley, Kyle Riley, 76 years old, who is a former pilot and a private investigator is what he's registered as. Okay, so this is a guy who, former helicopter pilot, he's now living in Georgia. So we know that he told the truth, that he does in fact have a father, an adopted father, William Bill Kyle Riley. We're pretty sure that that's irrefutable. Okay. Now, this is where it gets to be a little disturbing because William Bill Kyle Riley is in the Epstein documents as one of the people that was flying for Epstein and Trump. So now we have confirmation that this person, Sasha Riley, is talking about does in fact exist, and he is in fact in the Epstein files, and that's very damning and speaks to the veracity.
So last night I got through most of the Sasha Riley tapes, the male Jeffrey E. victim who was a child at the time. And even though I suspected as much, it is still much, much, much worse than we ever anticipated. I'm not going to give specific details, but let's just say that Jeffrey E., he was a mid-level employee in this
Public record searches confirmed that a pilot matching his father's exact details existed and appeared directly within Epstein's flight logs. Riley describes secret gatherings and horrific illegal activities at private properties, painting a terrifying picture of the hidden world lurking beneath high society.
I went on Substack and I listened to the interview with the trafficked man, Sasha Riley. I didn't think I'd be able to listen to it, but I listened to it because we all need to bear witness, and worse than everyone imagined, right? Very, very, very troubling and scary. And I encourage you to do it. The more people that get to hear it before they take it down, and, you know, the better. It's very sad to me that we had all of these women's testimony, and, you know, when a man says that, everyone pays attention. Not that his statements are not valid, and they're looking to confirm them, but boy, are they drastically violent and criminally corrupt in every capacity. So go to Substack and type in Sasha Riley, and you will be able to see and hear, not see, but hear this man on a phone interview with a journalist. I don't know how he survived. I really don't. And, you know, I tend to believe what he said because he's sort of so removed from it, dissociating. He's not like going back to the memory. He's just reporting on it, almost as if it didn't happen to him, which unfortunately it did. What a sad childhood and horrific parents he had, this boy, and grew up into a man and is in the armed forces, and how he made it out alive. That's a story in and of itself. But, you know, it definitely explains why the powers that be don't want the files released. Because of the horrifics.
These horrifying accounts led Rosie O'Donnell to address the issue directly on public platforms. Shocked by the testimony, Rosie openly rejected demands from industry powerfuls to remain quiet, urging the public to educate themselves and stand against systemic silence.
And there are millions of us. We have to stick together and be inspired by each other's courage. And I'm very inspired by so many people speaking out, so many people standing up and using their voice, even when others tell them not to. That's what it's going to take. And you know, they always say, if you ever wondered what you would have done in Nazi Germany in the 30s, well, take a look at what you're doing now. You know, we're not overreacting, we're underreacting as a nation. And I think that's what they're counting on. So go educate yourself about the realities of Epstein Island and the children, and the degrees with which they went to keep everyone in line. Horrific. Just horrific.
Whether every online claim holds true or not, the workplace scandal permanently shattered Ellen DeGeneres' reputation. Old stories continue to reemerge daily, leaving audiences to decide for themselves. What do you believe is the real truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.